Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a new release from Rhino Reserves, and that would be Sturgill Simpson's A Sailor's Guide to Life. This just came out beginning of the year 2026, mastered by lacquers cut by Matt Lutthans at the Mastering Lab. Of course, this is Sturgill's third album, and originally released in 2016 and presented here by Rhino on their Reserve line. I'm going to talk about the comparisons that I have to a couple other versions here. I have here an original 2016 version here, and then I have the CD as well here with the liner, the lyric sheet here in front. Now, talk about the presentations first. Of course, the CD comes in its standard jewel case, and then you've got your lyric sheet here on this little booklet. Each page has it's got some nice little artwork here on the insert front page, and then the lyrics are laid out nicely like a book here inside the lyric sheet here with some little artwork and stuff there. So this is kind of a neat little presentation of that. Then the original pressing on vinyl, of course, comes in a gatefold. Here you can see this beautiful gatefold here and that. And then it came with inner sleeve here. You can see there the inner sleeve, and very nice layout here with the lyrics. Again, it's missing some of those little squiggly Sergio Aragonés style artwork that the CD had, but then you've got the vinyl itself. Has it's about I don't know, 180 grams or so. It's got this really cool label here on the record itself of a compass with the different north, south, east, west, and everything, all the steps in between. Absolutely cool original album label. And then the Rhino Reserves. Rhino Reserves, pretty much the same type of presentation as far as the jacket goes. You've got the gatefold there. There's the opposite side of the gatefold, same interior. Now the depth of color on the Rhino Reserve is a little lighter than the original. Nothing to complain about. It's still looks fantastic, still looks amazing. The one gripe that I have, or not really a gripe, but the wish, is that the Rhino Reserve had that same cool label. Even if one side had the original label and the other side had the Rhino Reserve, would be fine. Maybe a photo insert on the lyric sheet of the original label, kind of like with the hi-fi line they're doing with the tape box. Be kind of cool to have that. And of course it comes in, the Rhino Reserve comes in the Fidelity non-static or anti-static sleeve there, and that's a nice presentation. How's the music sound? How are the pressings? Which one would I recommend? Well, the CD. The CD has the convenience, obviously, of playing in the car, playing, I actually still have a Walkman, although I hardly ever use it, but if you have a Walkman, you have the CD. The sound on the CD, each on their own, and I say this with many things that you might be doing a comparison to or a shootout, each on its own sounds fine. I mean, it's what helps people appreciate the music. It's what people probably listened to in 2016 when it first came out, when streaming wasn't what it is today. Vinyl wasn't really in its resurgence that it is today, so CD most likely would have been the way people have listened to it, and all the awards and accolades he got in 2016 would be from that CD version. However, the sound of it, it's quite compressed. There's not a lot of detail in the layering of the instruments. In fact, it's really hard to pick out the varying degrees or what instruments there are. And if you read the liner notes and the lyric sheets, you'll see that there is no shortage of instrumentalists and instruments playing on these tracks, and you can't really differentiate one from the other. It just sounds like a mesh of music. Pleasing and nice, but not that audiophile, not that distinct. That's the CD. Got a couple of notes here. It's the vocals are very bright on the CD, and there's not much bass to it, neither. Not much bass to the album itself. It's very high and at moments ear fatiguing. The original press, how does that sound? Well, much better than the CD. Much more enjoyable, much more defined. The high end is very clear. You definitely hear the vocals of Sturgill more clearly. You can hear that there's actually guitar and things in the tracks. You can hear the orchestra and the strings and horns and things like that are there. However, it still has a very narrow sound stage. Whereas the CD is like here. You have a little bit like here for the original pressing, but it still retains that high end. You really can, there's a lot of detail, but it's not a warm detail. It's more of a shrill detail at times. Listenable, but there were a few moments when I felt some ear fatigue, even with the vinyl, the original press there. It is, let's see, the sounds really are like on top of each other, so you can't really hear that layering and that this way, I guess, that dimension, or this way, neither. It really does sound like they're on top of each other. You're not really, even though it's clear, not muddled, doesn't sound like there's a blanket on the speaker. It's really hard to tell the depth or the positioning of the musicians. And that brings us to the Rhino Reserve. I mentioned this with the Rhino Reserve review that I did just a couple of days ago. And this is, and that was the John Prine album. This is no different. The Rhino Reserve is Matthew Lutthans worked some kind of magic mojo. This thing is warm. It is fuzzy and warm and detailed and defined and relaxing and funky. That sounds confusing perhaps, but it's done something to this record that needed to be done, and I really would enjoy hearing the full catalog. Get the Rhino Reserve treatment, or even the Rhino Hi-Fi here with Sturgill's discography. This thing was absolutely, number one, the sound stage, as soon as I put it on my turntable, in that opening, mesmerizing, spacey, out on the ocean sounds begin, it engulfed me. It felt like the sirens of the ocean were, grabbing me and hugging me. I could hear the sounds coming from all around. The sound stage was unbelievable. And the separation of the instruments, I could hear each individual instrument and the detail and the clarity with the warmth that came with that. It was amazing to hear the fingers moving on the frets of the guitar, and Sturgill's voice. Sturgill's voice had this resonance, this deep bass, this warmth to it, yet clarity. It's hard to put into words. I've heard many other VCers talking these type of lingo, and really hearing it, you can really understand what I'm trying to say. I hope that you're able to experience it. The deep, the bass, the what's the word? What did I write? The decay of the instruments and the vocals. It's magical. It really is a trip into this spacey, otherworldly, like you're down in the ocean and you're hearing the calls of the sirens, and it's just mesmerizing. It really is a fantastic job. Rhino, you did a great job. Matthew Lutthans, again, fantastic work. I am so excited for everything that is going on over there at Rhino, both with the hi-fi and the Rhino Reserves. And some of the other things that they've put out recently, I'll talk about that, I guess, in a future video, some of the box sets and stuff that Rhino has been putting out where they've just done something, I don't know what it is, it's just they're really hitting them out of the ballpark right now. And the wonderful thing about this is it can be had for on the cheap. And if you know where to go, you can get your 10% discounts, your 15% discounts. It could be under 30 bucks for this amazing sounding pressing. There's really no reason to have the other two versions. This is the definitive version. I'm really hoping that they do more in the Sturgill catalog. Just like I experienced with this album, I want you to, and this again, I say it ad nauseum, but this proves that there's magic in them grooves. I'll see you next time.